I don't know if you heard from other people. I'm a dentist.
Yeah, that was actually one of my questions. Like, this is the message that you want to tell everyone. Floss your teeth.
While you're waiting for a render, just go floss.
Enigmatic E.
Hey everyone, today I have a special guest. I have willis.visual, the one and only, the infamous, no, I'm just kidding, but just the well-known AI artist. I don't know what, AI content creator, right?
I suppose. Person who plays with these tools.
How you doing, bro?
Pretty good, man. It's good to be actually talking to you.
Yeah, it's actually nice to actually finally get to talk to you, because I think we've always interacted through like Instagram, right? Through DMs.
Yeah, through DMs and stuff.
I just want to say thank you, man, for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Thank you for asking me to do this. I have never done this before, so I also, the funny thing is, like, I don't think I've actively posted like any picture of myself or like video of myself in my art account, so this is my face.
Yeah. Well, you look pretty much like the AI profile version of yourself. So
yeah, that was a selfie, and I did a image to image with that.
Oh, really? Was it with Stable Diffusion or Warpfusion?
With Automatic 1111.
Cool. All right, man. Well, I just wanted to bring you on because you are very well known in the AI community. Like almost every person that I ask, who is the person that kind of inspired you, or how did you learn about Warpfusion? They always mention you. And I think that you have really, made a big impact in the AI community, just in the AI world in general. At least from my perspective, that's what it seems like. Do you feel that? I mean, how do you feel about that?
That's super awesome. I think because when it first started, becoming slowly popular, like a small group of people doing it, at least Warpfusion, that was like last September, October. That's when I found it. And then I also had my inspirations of how I got in there. Mainly Remy Moletti and Infinite Vibes. I don't know if you've seen their stuff. Yeah. So their stuff is amazing, and they inspired me. Like, I like dug through all the comments and like found the word stable warp, and that's how I found Alex's page. And so like in a way, that inspiration to me, I wanted, because that had such a powerful effect and made me want to do it. Like, I subconsciously wanted to have that effect on others, and then to have it happen, it just makes me feel like it's just super dope that I was able to have that effect on other people too.
Remy's one of the persons that I saw that really made me want to get into it, because I think I might have seen some AI stuff. I just didn't know what it was when I first saw it, because I just thought maybe it was like some After Effects kind of a thing, or just something I wasn't aware of. But once I start seeing Remy's stuff, then I'm like, this is totally something different. This is something else, right? And I did what you did. I went to the comments and just looked, and at that time, what I saw was like disco diffusion, and that's how I got started with disco diffusion. And and it just went from there. And then from disco diffusion, went to stable diffusion, but then I went to Warpfusion because of you, because you DM'd me and told me about it after I commented on one of your videos, and you're like, yeah, this is Warpfusion, check it out. And you told me all about it, and I just, got in there, and I was really impressed by what it can do.
The moment I started testing Warp, like, I just had so many ideas, because I used to dance, and I used to like fire spin, and I used to have all these random hobbies back to back. So I'm just like, whoa, like I can use this, and like all the people I've looked up to in these other hobbies, we can combine and like make new ways to look at existing art. And then it was just so awesome. And Alex is just, his vision of what this tool can do is just continually expanding, and he's always adding the newest advances in AI art stuff into Warpfusion. And so like just seeing this tool and the versatility of it just made me want to make some really cool looking things and like try to spread it, and so more people can use it and more people can support Alex, and then so Alex can keep making awesome stuff. And so that was kind of the mindset when it was less known for me. I just wanted to
Hmm.
make stuff and like make people see like this is an awesome tool. Like come play
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah. Do you feel, because a lot of people, I remember at the time, a lot of people were talking about, I especially saw this a lot on Reddit. A lot of people were feeling like some AI artists were gatekeeping a lot of this information. Did you feel that when you first started getting into Warfusion, or did you yourself feel like, man, I don't know. I mean, right now I'm sure you're very open to share this, but like, was there a point where you're like, man, I kind of want to keep this to myself, or were you like always pretty straight open, or I mean, it's understandable. I wouldn't hold it against you if you did feel like, man, like this is a little, this is something cool that just a few select people know about. When you got into it, did you feel like there was that gatekeeping, and also about yourself?
Yeah, I feel like that kind of question is like the battle between like your ego and like
Mm,
non-ego, because like when you find something new and it's really awesome, like I feel like the ego wants to just like take this new like secret and then just like make
yeah,
awesome stuff and like I have found this thing and I'm going to make
right.
awesome stuff. But then the other side, it's like found this awesome thing, but like you want other people to also feel the same way and like share the fun and share the innovation. But there's always that like two sides. Like I know definitely when I first found it and I like realized the possibilities of like all I could do, I like shared it to a few people
Hmm.
that I was talking to and stuff. And like I never made tutorials for it because I mean I don't make videos and I don't make videos like that. And there was like no tutorials on Warpfusion for like 6 months or something. And
Yeah.
then I could have made a tutorial, but I didn't. But what I did do was tell people about it. But definitely that like dynamic of like, oh, I found this thing, it's awesome. Do I share it with everybody, teach everybody? But there's definitely
Yeah.
both sides. And like being an artist, like sometimes you want to hold some things and like keep some secrets to yourself, especially with like how the way all of this works. But I feel like for me, like when I find something really sick, like my mind is like, all right, this is really cool. And then like hold
Hmm.
on to it for like 3 days. And then I'm just the type of person that like, oh, after 3 days, like, all right, it's like not as cool anymore in my brain.
Hmm.
So all right, I'll just share it. But yeah.
I know that feeling of like discovering something new and not wanting to reveal at least all of it. But when I do a video, a lot of people expect a tutorial on how I did that video. So, um, and I always walk that line of like, man, I would like to keep this to myself, but then I also like sharing the information. Like you said, I think that it's, yeah, it is like a little bit of that ego, like you said. That I think that kind of creeps in too.
And then sometimes it's like it's not necessarily ego also, but it's like sometimes you found this amazing thing and you just have no time to share it. You just
Hmm.
want to like go all in and explore this new thing you found,
Right.
just keep developing this idea. Like you just don't have time. Like at least like I'm kind of like that. Like if I find something really cool, like I just don't have time to share it as much. I just
Hmm.
like want to just go hard on it because like I guess I'm busy enough as is, like since I don't know if you heard from other people, I'm a dentist. And so
Okay. Yeah, that was
I'm
actually one of my
yeah,
questions. Like, what do you do for a living? And so you're a dentist.
yeah. So I'm a dentist 4 days a week, and so like
Okay.
the time I have to play with this stuff is the rest of the time versus, and then
Yeah.
also with the other stuff in my life. And so like if I find something I'm like super hyped about, like I just want to like keep playing with it and like keep experimenting. So that's kind of why sometimes it feels to other people maybe it's gatekeeping, but sometimes
Hmm.
it's just like we're literally just so excited about this stuff that we just keep doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel like you do have some stuff that you have never shared, that you just kind of, that there's just that like one or a few things that you just want to hold on for a little bit longer?
For the most part, I feel like I've shared everything in terms of like work fusion and like the type
Hmm.
of settings. Like I haven't. There's only a few instances where I've actually like sent settings files, um,
Hmm.
but most of the things that I'm doing, like it can be pieced together like how I'm doing it.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, like Gertie, the guy who does the statue stuff.
yeah,
Like I think a lot of people were able to just figure out, okay, I know kind of what to put in the prompt, and then just kind of experiment, and then just, yeah, just kind of zero in on what he did there. Because you've seen it plenty of times. Other people emulate that style. Um, how do you feel about? Because when I was talking to J Bugs, I he mentioned how he kind of felt some kind of way when he shared some settings with somebody, and then they use the exact same settings. Have you ever seen that? Have you ever shared something with somebody and you saw the exact same, like they didn't even alter the settings at all with anybody else?
I haven't had that experience. I definitely had people who like really want my settings, and then
They're
it's
like
not
just
it's not like yeah, I like really want my settings. But like if that person is listening right now, sorry, bro. Like I'm gonna keep
yeah.
that setting for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Sometimes when I'm doing like videos, like tutorials, I don't like explicitly go step by step. Sometimes I don't even share the prompts that I'm using, and it's not because necessarily because I'm trying to keep it to myself, but I actually want people to learn how to use this thing. And if you just get someone's settings and you just copy everything they're doing, you're not going to know what all these parameters do unless you actually dig in there and mess around and try to figure it out. So I think what you did with me was like great because you set me in the right direction, and then I just figured it out with time. Like you told me, hey, like try these numbers, try that number, and or do this, do that, and then I would come back to you like, oh yeah, that really worked. Okay, what about this? And then you would tell me like, I didn't want you to kind of give me your settings. I wanted you to kind of just send me in the right direction and then let me figure it out. You know, at least that's what I like to do.
yeah, absolutely. I like fostering that type of mindset too.
Hmm.
Um, and I feel like Noah, who's in the warp community too, and he describes it like you're like playing an instrument. You're just
Hmm.
like it's a very complex instrument, and like every render you do is a practice round, and you just slowly get to know what settings are doing generally and what settings you like, and then slowly going like that. So yeah, I feel like sending settings is not as useful. Well, partly because there's so many settings files already out there, and then Alex has the settings files for all his examples, and so there's
Right.
already a lot of resources where you can just load up settings and see what things are doing. Yeah,
Hmm.
but yeah, I guess
Yeah.
like some people just want to replicate the style that they're seeing, and totally understandable given how the fact that settings files exist and you literally can just press generate and something will come out. I don't know what exactly they're thinking when they just like really want a specific settings file. Maybe they really connect with what they're seeing, and that's cool too. But yeah, I
Hmm.
feel like they can definitely figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, like you don't have any background in like videography, like video or any editing, right? Like you just straight up just went into this because you were just you had interest in it, right? And you just uh put some time and dedication into it, right?
I mean, I made super basic video editing just for my past hobbies. So I just
Mm.
had that. Oh, and before AI, I did 3D. So I was making 3D art
Oh,
and like looped 3D with Cinema 4D. So I had that under my belt. So I was already kind of used to the fact that with a new thing, I was gonna need to like jump into learning mode and like go through
right.
all the baby steps and like figure things out, especially with something super new. So I was ready for that once I saw the
Okay.
AI stuff.
Yeah, that's interesting. So you didn't go just like, oh, dentist, and then all of a sudden a AI guy. So you had some experience with like visual stuff. So that, yeah, that makes sense to me because I think to be able to create the stuff that you do, you have to kind of have a good eye for that kind of thing, you know, um, because I mean it's not just like you know, you press a button and it just kind of spits out something that looks really nice. You have to kind of experiment and, you know, run it and then rerun it and then rerun it, and you have to be able to you know, look at it and see, okay, this is good or this is not so good and this sucks. And yeah, so that makes sense to me that you had at least some experience with visual stuff before. You're a dancer too, so you do a lot of a lot of your videos are have to do with dancing, right? So is that the reason why you gravitate more towards dance videos, or is it just because it just makes good visuals when it comes to the AI stuff?
Yeah, I feel like both. Because I feel like with this AI stuff, one of the things it's good at, and like a lot of content is dancing stuff, and it makes
Mm-hmm.
sense because one of the main things it's doing is able to transform a subject, and then like in terms of dance, like I understand from my own experience, it's like when you're dancing, oftentimes you're kind of envisioning what's happening, and you're trying to become something, embody something, express something, a feeling, a character, a setting, something. And in a way, when you're dancing, you're transforming into whatever
Mm-hmm.
you're envisioning. And so, like, this just allows you to visually express what you're imagining. And so I think
Yeah.
that's one of the coolest parts when you apply this thing with existing arts is you can visually express what you were imagining as you were making this art. And so
When you select videos, like what do you typically go to, like do you just like follow their accounts and you just uh pick out videos, or and also like how has that changed over time, and like has it changed over time, like just your selection process?
with the selection process, yeah, so my favorite way to make videos, and I've done a few of these so far, is when yeah, so I mean, a lot of warp is just taking existing videos and warping over it and stuff, and like existing stuff from people that have made awesome videos and awesome art. My favorite way personally is when I get to connect with an artist, whether it's a dancer or whatever, and then them knowing what's possible, coming up with something together, and then like personally filming it, and then like
Mm-hmm.
rendering it, and like making the idea happen. And so I think that's
Mm-hmm.
the coolest, because that is just using a new tool to combine with existing art and then making something fun. The render with the the jelly hand, and then like the tutting,
Mm-hmm.
like the jelly alien one, that was like a month ago or something. That one was an example of, I met somebody at an event. He was a dancer. I told him about what I'm doing, Warpfusion, and we both had the idea to just meet up and like make something. And then
Mm.
we made it happen, planned it out, shot it, and like it took an hour. And I had the data, and then I made the video, and it came out really cool. And so it was something that was not possible before this tech, and then now we made it something happen because of this new technology. Yeah. But I also
Nice.
love warping just like random awesome art, random awesome videos from people, and just like scrolling the internet for like the next warp target. That's also
Yeah.
fun too.
Yeah, I noticed like just I don't know, like a few months ago or weeks ago, you did one of the Jackson, the dancer.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was gonna ask you about him specifically because I actually did. I don't know if you ever seen it, but I did like an animation way back of him using when I was using mostly Stable Diffusion. Yeah, Automatic 1111, and I did one of him. Without I didn't really ask him. I just did it, and then I showed it to him, and he loved it. But then he's like, "Can you make me more attractive?" Did you have any those comments for your video, or was he just like he just loved it the first time?
um, that's funny. I definitely had moments like that with people,
Uh
and
huh.
like, but yeah, for Jackson specifically. Okay, so the video you made was actually introduced me to Jackson as a dancer. I didn't know
Oh,
about him
really?
before
Okay.
your video.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
so I saw your video, and then I was like, oh, this guy's a pretty sick dancer. Some nice ISOs, and then
Hmm.
yeah, that was that. And then later on, he actually found my Instagram through one of my videos, and then messaged me. I think if I remember correctly, he messaged me and then wanted to make something, and then I actually made something. I warped one of their old like TikTok videos, and then they
Hmm.
posted that, and then got a bunch of views. But I think he's rebranded since then, so that first video doesn't exist anymore. And then yeah,
Ah,
he's hit me up for just to make some stuff. as he gets the idea, and then yeah.
Since I follow him, I seen that he did like a music video, and there's a lot of one of the music videos. He has like a lot of AI in it. Did you work on that, or was that someone else?
Oh, that was someone else. That was
Okay.
and they used Kyber.
Oh, they
You
use
guys talked about
Kyber.
Kyber.
Jeez, Kyber, man. Yes, I might. You never know, man. Kyber might come up, and then you'll be using Kyber, bro.
It's okay. Warp is already the best.
It is. It is. But I gotta ask, like, I just saw like an ad just recently on Instagram, and it showed supposedly it looked like what Warpfusion does, right? And it just showed this person dancing, and it's like this app for uh, AI videos, and I'm like, okay, I don't believe this app actually generates AI that looks this like this because it looks like Warpfusion, but I know that there will be a day when that will be the case when we can warp in our phones, right? I mean, maybe it won't be called warp; it'll be called something else. But and then you'll be able to look at a category like, oh, cyberpunk, oh, robots or anime, right? That's the big one. Well, will you still be like as interested in AI once that happens? Once it just there's like an oversaturation of everything, and like just the average person is able to do what you do right now. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, with those with the ad stuff where they have they put deforum animations or like warp
Yeah.
stuff in there. I've seen ads where they put my stuff in there.
No way.
And
Jeez.
yeah, I've definitely
No
seen
sh-
one or two where it was like my like render. I'm just like, bro, like
no
this is
shame,
obvious,
bro.
but it's not obvious maybe to the people who actually end up paying and like, whoops, I paid for something that is not actually what was advertised. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty funny. Yeah,
man.
your question was how would I feel if everybody was able to warp super fast and like they make it super easy to make cool
Yeah, would
stuff.
you would you
Um,
still be interested in like would you still be like as excited to create this kind of stuff? Or what would you do in a
that's a
situation
really
once
good
it
question. Obviously, with whenever something awesome exists, there's going to be people who are going to make it easier to use, more efficient, faster, all of those things. When that's possible, that's super awesome because of the fact that how awesome Warp is.
Mhm,
And I think even if that were the case, I would probably still be interested in making stuff with it because of how versatile it is and how much it is like an instrument. It's almost like the first example I have in my mind is like Blender. Like
mhm,
everybody can use Blender, it's free and like, but it's just like it's complicated. In order to make
mhm,
something like a 2D scene, it takes all these elements, and if you don't learn all these elements, then you're not going to be able to make this scene like the Blender donut. And so it's like
mhm,
Warp. The difference with Warp is you have a settings file, you can make something, but it's
mhm,
like the analogy I like to think is like AI art stuff, like Work Fusion. It's like you're digging through this like huge infinite realm of possibilities, and you're trying to find these like little like needles in the haystack where they look the result looks good. So it's
mhm,
like you like look through this all these seeds and all these parameters, and you like found one that like looks good with this
mhm,
combination of like init video and everything. And so like that is an art in itself, like the fact that you have to like keep looking until you find a result that you like.
mhm,
And then you take that, and then the fact that you can combine warp with existing stuff like After Effects, like if you draw in basic element, you guys talked about this with Tyler. You
mhm.
draw in basic elements and then warp over that. That's like infinity squared of possibilities. And then
Right.
you take warp and you combine warp with 3D. Like that's something I have yet to do that I should be doing.
Mhm.
Make a basic 3D loop scene and you can warp over it and make it into anything. That's another like infinity cubed of possibilities. So
Right.
just if warp is easier, that's actually awesome because then that frees up more mental time, energy to like experiment. So that's cool.
I'm trying to get ahead of the game because I know that that's where we're heading by just learning stuff like Blender. Like just recently I did a video of like these Dragon Ball characters, and I did a camera tracking of the actual video, and then added like a bunch of 3D model stuff in the background so that it's moving. The characters were generated through Warpfusion, but the background was just like through Blender. And so, something like Quarter Crew was doing with when they did the anime rock paper scissors thing. Um, so I was trying to do something like that, and I'm just trying to get to a point where I can implement a lot of the AI stuff with other elements, like you said, like After Effects, Blender, or whatever else is out there. Because I think that at some point everyone's going to be able to do this, and it's not right now. It's not as easy. It's not as user friendly right now because of there's still a learning curve with even though it has become a little bit easier with Warp Fusion, but it's still a little bit of a learning curve. I get the feeling that very soon it's going to be, I want this mode, I want that mode, and then it just does it, and it does it really good. And so we're going to have to find ways to just kind of push it and make it impressive, and at least that's how I feel.
We've come to this point and like have this much experience. As long as we keep on having an open mind on what's coming out and just be curious and experimenting and making fun stuff, we're just gonna keep finding new ways to use these things, because there's so many ways to combine that it takes a whole community to find out what's possible. And
Right.
somebody finds one thing that gets popular, and then that's awesome, and then gets super popular, and that only adds more people to help explore this world until some AI banhammer comes and like smashes all our fun. Hopefully
Yeah.
that doesn't happen.
For you, what was one of the videos that really like just popped off for you? What was the video that kind of started, getting you a lot of attention?
Probably the Mario video.
The Mario video that got you a lot of attention?
Either one of the videos with Electrobots, Phoenix and Max, they're super awesome dancers.
Hmm.
Who are always down to make fun stuff. Or maybe it was the first one I did with Jackson.
Oh, that one blew up?
Yeah, that one blew up because all of their stuff blew up on their page, blows up on their page,
Yeah.
regardless. Um, that one might have been the first big one. But yeah, the biggest one still so far was the Mario one. It's got like 8.4 million. Yeah, that's kind of wild. The other day I was checking the insights on that video, like the stats, and then it
Hmm.
said total time watched 35,000 hours. I'm like,
Damn.
dang, like you guys spent that much time on that video? Oh
Damn, that's
man.
crazy, man. And yeah, and I think it's well deserved, bro. Like all the attention you're getting is well deserved.
The most popular ones so far, or and one that's going viral right now, is they all have to do with they're like really trippy looking, and so they kind of stem from psychedelic experiences I've had. Like the way
Hmm.
the visuals look, they just look like that, and like that's part of the reason why I like the effect so much. And then that's part of the
Hmm.
reason why like I decided this is the one I like. And so the fact that people resonate with that, it's very interesting. So it's like the way AI visuals look is very psychedelic, like the way things like morph
Yeah.
and like reference the stuff around it and just morph around. And it's just very interesting how unexpectedly you can have a technology that suddenly looks like something that people can connect with in the way that it looks.
Hmm.
Because I'm sure like I don't know about Alex's personal experience, but I don't know if he intended for warp outputs to look so psychedelic, but it
Hmm.
just lends itself because of the way it looks. So that's an interesting point.
Yeah, even since the like disco diffusion times, it was even more so. Just
Oh yeah.
did you ever use disco diffusion?
Uh, I tried in the beginning. I actually saw disco diffusion artists on Instagram. That's
Hmm.
what I think it was Holosomnia. This person was making really pretty images with disco, and then
Hmm.
that's one of the first accounts I saw with AI art that like really made me want to start researching and looking for other people doing this. I tried to do disco, but I could never get good results. But yeah, Stable
Yeah,
Diffusion was big right after. It was like August, and so like I just never went back to disco to try it more.
the whole psychedelic thing. I think that there's something there to that because if you think about it, like things that have really become viral have been like look at that one from Deforum. You know, the whole what's that guy Mac original Max. I think his TikTok is different, but in Instagram he's original Max. Um, but yeah, like it is like psychedelic too, like just all the crazy stuff you're seeing as like the camera's moving and stuff. Like there's something there, there's something about that that I think, like you said, like people resonate with something like that. They just think it's, you know, interesting to watch, you know.
And then everybody makes the same type of thing, and then you got to find the next thing.
Yeah, yeah, you got to keep it moving, man, because or else it's the thing is like when you create a trend like that, like you're gonna have so many people just copying that, and then at some point you're gonna have to move on to something different. And that guy is already doing like statue videos, so I think he's kind of moved on from, you know, the forum. Oh, but no, he's also doing a lot of warp stuff, so I think he might have found out about warp and just started just getting into it. I think that a lot of people are going to get into warp, especially when the this new Corridor Crew video is going to come out. Did Nico from Corridor Crew ever reach out to you about anything?
Somebody from Corridor Crew messaged me about some stuff. I think asking me for some stuff about Warp.
Hmm.
So I think I know that they're using Warp now.
Because I'm actually helping a little bit with it with the new Corridor Crew
Oh, nice.
animation, the new anime that they're working on. And I asked Nico about why he decided to switch from Stable Diffusion to Warp, and he said because he started seeing your videos, um, and that he saw the potential there through your videos. He just saw because I think he said that he's seen your videos, but he just wasn't convinced that it can do what he wanted at first. At least this is what I kind of remember he said. But then he just started to see the newer stuff you're putting out, and then he's just like, "Oh wow, okay, this is going in a direction that might help us with what we're trying to do." And I gotta say, man, it looks really good. I gotta say, did you watch the first anime?
The rock paper scissors one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fire.
Well, bro, now that they use Warp Fusion, bro, it's so much like it's so much looks like an animation. Uh, because a lot of people complained on the first video that on the first part one with that it just looked too much like what is the term they use, like rotoscoped or something like that. There's a term that people use that
Oh
it just
yeah,
looked too
you see like
too,
the
too
layers. But
yeah. And but this one looks like it was animated. It looks very and they trained a lot of their own. And they're going to talk about all this and their behind the scenes stuff. But yeah, but it was because of the stuff, how much like you were pushing it with your stuff, and I guess you must have saw something there that he decided to switch. And yeah, it's going to pay off, man. Once you watch it, you're going to see what I'm talking about.
yeah, I'm excited to see like what like actual professional like video teams make using this technology. That's super hype. Because I'm just one person, and I've been slowly being more involved in some projects here and there where there's a team involved, and like
Hmm.
actually trying to use Warp in a way where we can make something more so commercially viable. And that's something super cool. I like that you brought it up because Warp is not just turn everyone into like this insane psychedelic cyberpunk person or turn
Yeah.
everyone into a dancing waifu. It can do like really refined things too, like subtle things. Like you can just
Hmm.
make somebody slightly 3D, or like you can make someone have like slight artistic characteristics but still maintain their look. Like you can do very subtle things that might be more viable, not just like complete like insane transformation, which is cool
Hmm.
too. But it's just like, yeah, it's interesting that you said he saw my stuff and at first wasn't sure, but then later was more
Hmm.
sure because I try to do different things with it, and like I try to do a variety of videos so I can adapt to different videos and see what could work in different situations. There's a lot of possibilities to play with this, and I'm definitely excited to see what comes out. Yeah.
Have you got any like have you done any commercial work with this? Because like you said, it's something you've been working on. But before this, have you done any commercial work?
Only recently. Most of the rest, I've done a couple of things for like DJ visuals, but the
Hmm.
rest is just like smaller commissions.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think we'll be seeing
Nice.
some interesting things coming out using AI soon.
Yeah. I actually was before just having this interview with you. I actually had a meeting with this animation company that they do like mostly animations for like who was one of the company like Trident Gum. They did I think they did one for Google. Like some pretty big names in there, and they reached out to me because they're interested in using possibly introducing like AI in some of their production stuff. Um, and so I had like a 30-minute just kind of just talk with them, and they were just asking me a bunch of questions, and they definitely want to try to see how they can do this in a way that yeah that they can use it in a commercial. And something I and Tyler talked about is like when a company comes to you, they usually want something that's kind of specific, or at least they want something that, hey, we want it to look like this. And I think there's a lot of companies probably trying to see if this is possible with AI, if you can really steer it in a direction, and get kind of specific things. Even though AI is unpredictable, you can there's ways to kind of still guide it into a direction, you know what I mean?
It's this like beast that's very hard to tame,
Right.
but slowly you tame it a little bit, a little bit. But yeah, with the commercial stuff, I feel like it's just to me it's so stressful because of the
Yeah.
specificity required. I'm using this thing that's really wild, and I'm trying to make it do specific things. But yeah, I mean, you guys talked about using After Effects, and Tyler was talking about his the Toyota,
Hmm.
was it Toyota, that commercial
I
where he
forgot
added
what it
things,
was.
yeah, where he added elements and then applied AI over it, and that's definitely stuff like that to help drive where you're trying to go. But I feel like the trend with this technology is like people are trying to have more and more control over
Right.
time. And so
Yeah.
before we didn't have control net, and so we had absolutely like so little control, and like it was so hard for me to get a video that was like kind of consistent. And then
Hmm.
like once control net came out, it was just like huge. Like everybody was like mind blown with the possibilities, and like I feel like it's only going to trend towards more and more control as people
Yeah.
are researching. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because I actually watched the video, like a YouTube video from this guy talking about. He's like an artist, like he draw like paints or something. And one of the things he says is like, uh, like I think the title of the video is like uh, AI art will get worse in the future. And the reason he says that is not necessarily that it's going to look worse, but he was trying to communicate that the reason AI art is so fascinating, it is because it's imperfect, and that's what makes when someone hand draws something, like there is that imperfection of like shaky hands, and like not perfect, like not everything is like symmetrically or like perfect. Um, and that's what makes art interesting, right? But then when the machine becomes so perfect that there is no mistakes at all, then it just starts to become like not interesting anymore. He was trying to say that the fact that that AI can't make perfect hands is what makes it, you know, art, and what makes it interesting, because it's like it's something that's somebody who's still learning, you know?
The AI argument is just is forever going to be interesting to talk about because yeah, as you said, if AI art becomes so perfect that it's really the human element is becoming less and less. I mean, in a way, that gives more value to the human artists because like
Yeah.
everybody's going to be tired of perfection and like they want to see
Yeah.
the real artistic expression, like hand drawn. Like that's in my perspective, it makes them more valuable. Um, like I can't draw. Like I'm just terrible at that, and the fact that I can make things that are interesting based on my combination of experiences and ideas. That's why I think AI art is awesome because I can make stuff even though like I can't like draw or anything. But
Yeah.
like somebody who can draw, I have so much respect for them because that's like the essence of it. That won't go away. But at the same time, I can totally understand like them being, I guess, fearful of it based on everything that's going on. You remember those one that like 2 weeks where there was the anti AI art movement where
Oh
everyone was doing
yeah.
those like
What happened
flashes?
to
That was
that?
insane. Yeah, what happened to that? That was
What?
insane. I went
Yeah.
to during that week on Remy Moletti's Instagram profile. He had
Hmm.
posted something new, and like there was so much hate in the comments. I was like, dang, like
Yeah.
this is wild. And then
Do,
it fizzled out. So
yeah. Do you feel like there was a time where you got a lot of hate, or you just never really got that kind of attention from people?
when the hate peaked,
Yeah.
didn't have that much attention yet, and so I was able to
Okay.
dodge it. But
Yeah.
it seemed pretty. It was pretty nuts.
I find myself sometimes in a hard place because I want to do like content creation like for a living. I want to be able to do YouTube for a living, but I find myself like stuck in the middle of like two people arguing. I got the AI people, here that they believe in the whole AI movement and like being creative with AI, and then you got the people over here who are anti AI, and I'm like in the middle because I like both. I like using AI, and I like using like After Effects, and I like using all these things, and I would like to get the respect of both, you know. But since I'm in
Yeah,
the middle, it's kind of like pick a side, like. And I don't think we have to pick a side. Like I feel like you can still enjoy. Like I enjoy looking at like hand drawn art. Still, I appreciate it so much. But even within the AI world, you start to see teams within the AI world, because then there's like the Stable Diffusion side people, there's the foreign people, there's the warp people, and and I think this is good. I think that that not division, but that that branching out into different tools, I think is good, because then not everything will look the same. Hopefully, you have people that are really good at deform, and you have the people that are really good at warp, and you're gonna have the people that are really good at stable diffusion, and maybe Kyber. People are gonna be really good at with Kyber, uh, or Runway. Runway has their tools. I think that the fact that AI video is branching out, I think that's a good thing, because we're gonna have people who specialize in different things.
absolutely. There's so like the new runway feature where you input an image and it like makes it move.
Right?
They it looks good. It looks
Yeah.
cool. Like that every new feature has its infinite possibilities and people who can get good at it and like make cool
Yeah.
things. I always definitely feel something in the back of my mind where I'm just like I'm like cheating art
Mm,
like I can't draw and like I'm just making these things. So
yeah.
that thought drives me to try harder to
Mm,
make things that were not possible before this tech and like make it something interesting or explore like the extremes of different settings to see what kind of things are possible instead of just generate the same style over and over again.
I've dealt with that kind of like back and forth of like I'm cheating kind of thing. And I think I'm doing what you're doing. I'm trying to compensate for that by including other things like Blender and After Effects, and showing like, hey, look at guys, it's not as easy as just pressing a button. It's not as easy as just like, oh, cyberpunk, you know, uh, dancing cyberpunk robot or something like that. Um, but there are other elements that you include in there, you know what I mean, like to show that there is complexity to all this, that it's not just uh that it's not just like pressing one button and then it does everything for you.
Anytime one of my posts gets like past my like normal audience, like the those type of comments start coming in. It's just
Mm,
like, oh, it's just AI. Oh, this AI stuff again. Oh, yeah.
yeah, i
So
i think that
definitely get a lot. Of that.
you're gonna get that more, bro. Like the more you grow, the more you're gonna get that. But thankfully there's a lot of people that are asking you to do it more, and it's not gonna go away. So
Yeah, definitely shout out to the AI art community, like the Warp users. yeah, everyone's so helpful and wanting to build this unstoppable train that we're on.
Yeah. Thank you so much, bro. I appreciate you coming on, and I know that you're busy. You gotta clean people's teeth and uh, make sure that yeah, people floss and everything. So I
Yeah,
appreciate
floss,
you
guys.
coming on. Yeah, this is the message that you want to tell everyone. Just like floss, man.
While
Are
you're
you
waiting for a render, just go floss.
Yes, yes, yes. Listen to Willis. Like, he is a dentist and he knows what he's talking about. So go make sure that as you're rendering, like, floss your teeth. Are you that kind of person, like the kind of dentist who like always reminds people about that? Like, floss your teeth, please.
If it comes up in the conversation.
That's always my biggest fear, man. Is like, he's gonna tell me to floss my teeth, after my gums are all bleeding and stuff. So, but yeah.
It's okay. Your teeth look pretty good right here from my perspective.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. It means a lot coming from you, bro. But yeah, man.
Really appreciate you having me on and doing this and just having this conversation. It's very interesting to talk about this stuff, and I haven't had very many opportunities to really just like straight up converse about this, just because uh, there's not many like warpers IRL around, and maybe I'm just like I'm more introverted, and so like
Mhm.
I don't tend to talk uh, as much with the community, but this is an awesome opportunity. So thank you very much. Can't wait to see what crazy thing comes out next week.
Yeah, man. Definitely.